This is the Soul to Earth podcast. I'm your host, Carrie Koss, psychic, evidential medium, mentor, and witch, here to help you explore your connection with the spirit world and discover your own grounded spiritual practice. Hey everybody, how are you? I'm really excited about today's podcast. We're going to be talking about the law of attraction and manifestation. I'm going to take you back on a journey with me back to that time at the age of 19 when I went through my spiritual awakening, brought on by massive anxiety. I know a lot of you have reached out to me and told me that you really relate to that. And that's often some of the symptoms that accompanied your awakening as well. I'm really hoping that this conversation and topic will give you some insight, reflections, and tools to help you get into alignment with what you're wanting to create and experience in your life. So I'm at the age of 19. I'm having a lot of panic attacks. I started working with a therapist, and he really had me start to look at and reflect my thoughts. He also accompanied it with doing breath work. The next part of it he had me doing was visualization. And all of these tools together really made me very curious about how these different things can actually affect your well-being, but also how these three things can put you into alignment with things that you desire. And when you're in alignment with things you desire and you start experiencing the results of that, you're onto something. So that's really what started my curiosity with understanding the law of attraction. Now, the word manifesting for me in the 90s was not as much a word. In fact, what we said was the law of attraction. That's the term that I am a little bit more accustomed to, but they are one and the same. So what happened for me is I read one very pivotal book. And it's funny because when I did the research for this episode, I started looking at all the different leaders of the law of attraction and manifestation, and most of them are men, right? Some of the ones you probably know would be Neville Goddard, Bob Proctor, Napoleon Hill, and so on. But the person I studied with, her name was Shakti Gawain. And Shakti also happened to live in the Bay Area, not too far from me. And I read her book, which was very simplistic. And I believe the name of this book is just The Law of Attraction. The Law of Attraction for me started unfolding because the way she wrote this book was very simplistic. She mentioned that your thoughts were energy, and what you believed and what you perceived often affected your reality. And as I started even conceiving of this and realizing it, I started playing around with thinking about myself in more of a positive light, being able to visualize some of the experiences I wanted to have. There's a lot of steps in here that are important, which is one of the reasons why I now have a course on manifestation and the law of attraction. And I'm coming out with a guidebook and a journal that goes through all the steps. Some people go into manifestation law of attraction thinking it's just about positive thinking and that it's going to manifest millions of dollars. And that's a naive way of looking at it. What it assumes is that everything is made up of energy, including you, your emotions, and everything you come into contact with. And we can all probably agree upon that if you're listening to this podcast. So once I started working with that energy, I started experiencing a shift in my reality. I felt more confident, a little more grounded within my energy and body. And I also felt like I was coming into contact with experiences aligned with my values and what felt like a spiritual path. So things started really lining up. I also was given, based upon that information and opportunities, to start looking at my self-concept, how I viewed myself, and then how I viewed myself in the world. All of those principles and tools really started helping me leverage my feeling of self-love, and also understanding myself, not trying to fit in the world as much and just be a little bit more in alignment with who I was and how I did things. So that was really important. So as we're talking about the principles of manifestation and the law of attraction, this is a simplification of how you go about doing it. The first thing I tell my students and clients is this. Based upon this fact that you, in fact, are co-creator with the universe and that you can affect change in your reality based upon what you believe, what you feel, what you perceive and interact with, and you can make positive shifts. Now, does this mean that you create everything within your reality? Absolutely not. You are in contact with a lot of different people, with societies, the county you live in, the state you live in, the leaders, the people that make choices in your environment, and so on. So you are not the only one creating your reality, but you have an immense amount of power within your own experience. So the first thing I say to my students is take a look at what you want to create, manifest, or something that you want to experience. I actually like to call these intentions. And from there, let's really just craft one intention. Starting with one is always a great place. If you try to start with too many at once, you will come into some frustration, pressure yourself, burden yourself, and have lack of success rather than something successful. So getting clear on your intention. You also want to, let's say you work at a company and you're wanting to get a promotion. So the thing you want to do is within the realm of possibility, you want it to be something that you can actually believe can happen, that it's something that might feel like a bit of a stretch and you have to work on it, but not impossible. That's a good way to start. So let's use the job example again. Let's say you work in human resources at a company and you just started the last 6 months, but you really have a notion to get up to the executive level, and that's your intention. The first step realistically would probably be, let's manifest a mid-level position. And so from that position, you want to then go into what is your reaction when you hear that manifestation. You have to take a look at your beliefs, your limitations, anything that might come up in relation to seeing yourself, feeling yourself in that position. So again, it's a bit of a stretch. It's not impossible, but it's something that is going to challenge you just enough. So from there, you then really want to go into the beliefs and what we call the shadow work that are around you being able to achieve that. Do you believe there's too many other people that can do that better than me? Or I failed at things before, it's not going to happen. Someone else is better at that than I am. So you want to go into those specific beliefs and you want to start from there. Now, what I like to do from there, there's a couple different ways you can work on that. The first thing is you can just hold space for yourself and journal about those feelings and those experiences and those beliefs. Doing shadow work, half of the battle is just recognizing that you have that underlying belief. From there, what I like to move into is connecting with spirit guides. We forget that our spirit guides and higher self are really here for our highest, greatest good. And they can do energy work on our behalf. So if you enter into meditation with them and you say, okay, this is what I'm wanting to manifest. Can we work together to make this happen? They can do energy work on you. They can help you remove blockages. They can help you change mindset. And they can really help you transmute the blocks that you have and the shadow work needed. Now, you're working as co-creators in this process. So it's not just them doing the work, but you're working together as a team. Once you've got that sorted and you can tell what the blocks are and you can see this is coming into fruition, from there, you want to move into then some of your independent work you'll do. So from there, you want to choose 2 or 3 affirmations that feel really good to you, that will positively affirm that you have that job. Some of my favorite terms to use is everything needs to be, first of all, in present tense. I easily have manifested my HR job. I effortlessly am now in this ideal HR job. I'm a natural candidate and have accepted the job. Everything's said in present tense. The next thing you want to think about is the feeling aspect of getting into the law of attraction. This is a very important step because this is what lets your subconscious know that this is something true. So what you want to do is spend time, whether you can see it or not, because some people cannot do visualization, and this is a process. So don't worry if you can see this or not. You want to feel what it feels like to have that position. Feel comfortable in the position. Feel as though people respect you in that position. You want to feel as if it's normal and that you enjoy it and that you could see yourself doing the tasks and feel a sense of ease and everything is natural and flow. This is one of the most important steps. That is really what locks spirit energy and your subconscious into this place of believability. One of the problems of why people don't often get the things they intend for themselves is because they don't believe they can have it. And they can't feel themselves having it. And they can't imagine it. They can't sense it. Spirit is passing you by, moving towards what is more likely for you, which is what you actually do believe. So you just have to get yourself used to it. Now, it might take some time before you get into a position where it's natural and then it flows and then it's effortless. But I promise you, it works. The other thing I think a lot of people overlook when it comes to the law of attraction is that you want also to work with spirit and your spirit team. You want to say, if this is for my greatest and highest good, if this job is for my greatest and highest good. Sometimes our ego self wants something to happen. Sometimes our ego self wants an outcome, but sometimes it is not for our highest good. We can't will something to happen if our spirit says otherwise. So I always leave room when I'm setting it up, when I'm talking to my guides, and when I'm coming into alignment, which really says, is this for my greatest and highest good? Because it won't matter if you're doing all these steps, if you're doing the positive affirmations, if you are connecting with your guides and getting healing work done, if you are feeling and sensing what it feels like to have that item, that thing, that job, that car, that partner, unless it's for your highest good. You want to be able to release your intention and let the best version come to you. Because the real outcome for you might actually be moving to another country and meeting the love of your life. So keep fluid, keep open, keep flexible. That's a big part of creation and manifestation. And later, when we're going to talk about in our next episode is doing spell crafting, spell work, we are going to talk about just that because sometimes based upon the laws of the universe and what is your highest and greatest good, sometimes the direction you want to go in is the one that's not going to lead you to the bigger picture of what you're wanting. One of the things I've really learned, and as I teach my clients when it comes to things they want to manifest, they'll come to me and say, take a look at my relationship. Will he reach out to me? Will she reach out to me? Will this manifest? And what I always say to them is, rather than putting it in that position of a yes or no answer, just let me know the energy around this situation and whether or not this situation is for my highest, greatest good. And as you do that, energy will start to be revealed. That may be your perfect relationship and the thing you're wanting is absolutely ideal for you. But time and time again, if there's blockages for a reason sometimes you're meant to release them, move on, do something else. But then sometimes you're meant to move in an entirely different direction. So keep that in mind when it comes to identifying your intention, getting really clear on what it is. Having it be a measurable step that challenges you just above where you are to get to your goal, getting comfortable with understanding that this is a process of shadow work. You want to take a look at your beliefs that are under the surface that you have around getting that goal The next thing we're going to have you do is you're going to be focusing on connecting with your spirit guides and your higher self and really saying, this is my goal. Is this for my highest, greatest good? Help me release any blockages I have around this. And if it's for my highest, greatest good to do something else, please let me know. Make it very clear. The next thing is you want to work on mindset. If you have negativity that says, I can't have that, or I'm not good enough, or someone else will get the job, or the guy, or the person, then you want to work on those beliefs. And the next one is that you want to have embodied manifestation. So you want to feel what it feels like, see what it looks like to have that intention occur. Because that is the thing that really threads the needle, right? It really gets in order for your subconscious to understand what this manifestation is like for you and also the match for you. So I am excited to see what kinds of things all of you are manifesting or working on, what your process has been, your journey. And please feel free to reach out to me, become a subscriber, and leave a message in the comments. It helps me so much. If you can subscribe to the podcast and also share it with friends, leave comments, and make sure you're also follow me on YouTube. Again, I want to thank you so much for listening and being a loyal subscriber. Next episode, we are going to be talking about doing spell work and spell crafting. And I'm really excited to share my experience with you and some tips to get you started. Take care.
You've been listening to the Soul to Earth podcast. Follow me on social media and watch the full episodes on YouTube.